Okay, so week 5. You're going to start with your heels on the red stick in the back of the box. Hands relaxed at sides. All the round plates need 1 hit. All the square edge plates need 2 hits. All the falling steel must fall. The paper gets 2 hits, and any hit on the white cardboard is a penalty. Also, there's a target with the blue rectangle behind it as a no-shoot. So the first target array, I'm going to need 5 hits. The second target array, I'm going to need 6 hits. The third target array, I'm going to need 6 hits. If you look at that pepper popper, there's another one right behind it. They're in line. So the first one needs to fall before you can hit the second one. Here's what it looks like at half the speed. And here's what it looks like at full speed. Then there's 2 paper targets on the right, which can take 4 hits. And then finally, at the end of the hallway, there are 3 hits needed. An activator, a pepper popper, and then the swinger. And you see that blue steel there behind the swinger. So that's it. Let's see how I do. Here you go.
Stand by.
Alright, first array here. I need 5 hits. 2 on the square, 1 on the round, and 2 on the square. Alright, next bay. We've got paper coming up on the right. Popper, 2 on this guy, and 1 here. That's it. Let's reload. We got paper right on the ground in front of us here. 2 to the face. First popper. Second popper. 2 on that. Alright, I've got some paper to the right. There's 2 cardboard targets. 1, 2. Oop, got cut up on that a little bit. Activator. Miss. Click, click. Can't count to 6. Some days it's hard. Reload. Push him home. Hit the popper. Miss, miss. Come on. There it is.
You're finished. Unload, show clear, clear. Put it away. 4, 4, 9, 5. Stand by.
Okay, second string here. Let's go. 2, 1, 2. All right. Same thing on the left here. Paper first. Popper. 2. And falling. Yes. All right. Close up paper. 1, 2. Popper. Popper. 2. Yes. All right. 2 paper on the right. Let's see if I can stay out of the port this time. Actually crouch down while I'm reloading to get in better position. 1, 2. 3, 4. Still went in the port. Hit. Hit. Hey, I counted to 6 that time. Look at me. I can learn. Up and... Whoo.
Nicely done.
Nice.
3, 7, 6, 9. If you're finished, put it away.
Well, that's about as good as I can do with this old setup. I did do it. I broke into the 30s. There were 51 shooters this past week, and I finished 37th overall. So I'm glad I met that milestone, that goal I set for myself early on. All it took was not missing, being able to count to 6, and doing it as fast as possible, but not so fast I started to miss. So the first run went well. I had some misses in the last position. I did lose track of how many rounds I had fired, and if you look when I'm aiming at that last pepper popper, I had 2 trigger pulls on empty chambers, or empty cases. So that was just me losing track. Fired 1, nothing. Thought, well, maybe I just bobbled 1 on my reload. There might have been an empty one. I didn't remember it. But the easiest thing in the world to do when you're shooting a revolver is just pull the trigger again. But there weren't any bullets in the gun, so it didn't go bang the second time I did it. I reloaded. I got my hits. It went well. But that second run, that was really good for me. I had no misses. I kept track of the status of my gun the whole time. The only problems I had were, was a problem that had been plaguing me the whole league. That's with my reloads, is lining up the speed loader with the cylinder, and then once you release the speed loader, having them all fall into the chamber. Now I've got a few theory on this one. Now I have brushed the cylinders every week before I start. Running a chamber brush through each one a couple of times till everything just feels good. Also hitting the ejector out and brushing under it, making sure there's no powder or debris under it. Also the front of the cylinder and the forcing cone. I did have my GoPro on this time, so here you can see my pre-stage ritual. It's quite boring, but I do it every week just to make sure. Brushing the chambers, brush, brush my chambers. Give 'em a little brush, brush, make 'em all feel good and clean. Gonna brush the chambers, oh man, they are so clean, clean. Brush, 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 brush. Clean that chamber, yeah. Brush the chambers. Brushing all my chambers. Woo! Look at those clean chambers. Gonna pack up my chamber brush. Ooh, that's a nylon brush. Let's do the cylinder face and get the carbon off of it. Let's make it spin and make it clean. Get it all real clean. Oh, how about that forcing cone? Let's get all the junk off of that one. Oh, let's go back to the cylinder and brushy brush. Oh, now we're doing the cylinder face. Oh, get that ejector out, get the powder down, make sure there's no powder under that. Cleany, and brush and clean. Clean the brush and clean, and oh, yep, that's good. A little brush to make sure, just a little more. And dry fire, let's see, okay, snap. Front side's good, grip's good, nothing's moving, eject it. A little more dry fire, come on. What's more practice? And holster. I know, really exciting stuff. Watching a guy brush out his chambers. But one theory I have on this, and it shows up really bad in the cold weather. You know, when it's in the teens, 15, 16, 18, and you go out there with a cold gun, of course the gun is ambient temperature, say, 18, 20 degrees. And you start shooting, well, the heat is generated inside the case when the powder burns. And that heat goes through the case into the chamber walls of the cylinder. And so, of course, as it expands, or as it heats up, it's going to expand. But the rest of the cylinder is still very cold. So as that heat is working its way through, I think when you have the chamber, of course there's 6 of them, when you have that chamber starting to get warm, but still all the material around it is very cold, and it expands inward. And in some winter stages, I'll find when I get them in there and release the speed loader, and they're not in, I'm just pushing them in, and it takes a lot of force. But the funny thing is, after I shoot a little bit, it seems to soften up. I think once the heat gets into the cylinder, everything expands and makes it easier. It's not as bad. It was only 50 degrees out, so it wasn't as bad. It's a theory I have. I should probably go out when it's cold and test it, but I haven't. But this week, I accomplished one of the major goals I had for this league. I found personally when I'm shooting matches with modern guns, with big magazines, I do get a little sloppy because I can get away with small mistakes. There are no small mistakes with a 6-shot double-action revolver in this league. Almost any miss will force a reload costing 6 to 9 seconds to get the gun going. So if I could have taken another 10th to get a good sight picture and a good press, I might have saved myself the 6 to 9 seconds of having to reload for 1, 2, 3 more rounds. So by raising the cost of a miss by shooting a revolver, I was really trying to force myself to take every sight picture and every trigger press a lot more seriously than I would with like a whiz-bang modern space blaster. And I really felt that I got into the sweet spot my second run. I really saw what I needed to see, and while shooting the gun I did what I needed to do to get every hit. I didn't go too fast, but I was going faster than I did the first round, so I don't think I was dragging behind. I think everything just lined up, and I was really taking every presentation on target, every sight picture, every trigger press very seriously and deliberately. You can even see, if you look at the video and slow it down, you'll see where I even staged the trigger on a few. That's where you will pull the trigger back most of the way to get the hammer back, rotate the cylinder, and then press the rest of the way once your sights are aligned. You can see that in the video if you look really close over the weeks. When I was taking a shot very seriously, you saw my trigger pull slow down just to make sure everything was right. But it was a good run. I will probably never carry a setup like this in the real world. Never. I mean, I do carry revolvers. I'll carry them around the house. I'll carry them for bear defense when I'm hunting openly. When I'm camping, I'll concealed carry them for bear defense. You don't want to freak your neighbors out. We got a lot of tourists up here, and they're not all from here, so they don't get it. And I'd sooner meet good people and have good experiences than freak them out because I'm the weird gun guy camping next to them. But this is a wonderful old gun. It brings back a lot of memories. My dad had a gun just like this. He still has it. 6-inch, Model 19. His stocks are different, his trigger's different, but it's almost the same gun. And I really enjoyed getting the old girl out and running her at speed in a match. But a 6-inch K-frame really serves no role for a revolver in my life right now. I'll probably never get rid of it. It's a great gun. But next week, I'm going to shoot the only wheel gun that I have cut for moon clips. Because this is a competition, I am in the open revolver division. That allows moon clips, compensators, red dots. I think you can even have 10-shot revolvers. The rule set is so loosely written because revolver is so lightly delved in by people, but a couple of guys wanted to, so they added it. I don't think there was a restriction on caliber. I think the rimfire guns, like a 6.17, would be going straight up with all the other guys. So I mean, that would be the ticket, a 6.17 with a dot on it, and some way to reload it quickly would be a really good setup. But I wanted to do it with the old gear, just to put some more pressure on myself. I'll still have the artificial pressure of shooting the 6-shot revolver. The revolver I'll shoot next week only holds 6, but with the moon clips, hopefully it cuts down my reloads a little more, and I can keep my head into the shooting portion and not struggle so much with the reloads and trying to get all the rounds to fall down and seat in the chambers. But I'm looking forward to it, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Every time I see somebody shooting a revolver, I'm like, man, I got to do that. And then I see all the reloads, and I'm like, screw that.
Why?
I feel kind of the same way.
You're rocking it, man.
Oh, it's fun.
I've got a nice 1911, but it's like...
I rocked 1911 for several years. It's just magazines everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Let's shoot some stuff, reload. Shoot some stuff, jam, reload.
Mine doesn't malfunction.
Has anyone ever shot the entire 10 week or so course at like a high point C9 or something like that?
High point 45.
We are amongst a celebrity. The man who shot the 3-gun championship with an H car.
And a high point.
And a high point.
And I had to spray paint the high point to match the H car.
Make ready, sir.
It's so disgusting, it's intriguing.
Pretty smooth. Are you ready? Stand by. Put it away.